Welcome everyone to the new office, and today I will be trying to give you a perspective of edtech industry. It's a new word. Uh, Many people are familiar with ads, but edtech is kind of a new pipeline. There is a bit of work which is involved to serve an ad. So today the agenda is we will understand what edtech industry is, how ad is being served. There are few challenges in all industry. So I will try to introduce few challenges. Then we will talk about how we can solve those challenges in a better way. And in the end, I would like to close with EdTech future, where the EdTech industry is going up. So in this presentation, expect zero coding, but few of the knowledge which is required to understand this ecosystem and what innovation IES is doing. At first, about IES as a company, as Brad was mentioning, we originated in 2009, a global presence in 16 different countries, and we work with all different industries. If you see from finance, technology, telecom, we help everyone to serve their ads in a right way, in a right place. These are the few of the companies, agencies, publishers, platform where we work with. I know there are many famous names, but main is we try to help every customer regardless of their platform. So our presence is across different platforms. This is very short about IES Ireland. We are 23 team members and different across spread different platforms, business unit. We have key partnership with universities within Ireland. We try to help them. We try to be the part of Dublin Tech Summit, AI Tribe, Women in DevOps, Silicon Republic, and also do different volunteer activity. Now let's start with ad. Everyone would have seen an ad, whether it's a social media platform or a website somewhere, and I'm sure one of the ad would be your favorite and one of the ad would be your, let's say, least favorite ad. But let's see how that ad is being served. This is very simple diagram of what we call as a programmatic ads, and there is a huge number of people who are working in this pipeline. To understand this, let's say a brand A come up with a marketing budget, say I would like to advertise this particular, in this example, a car, to different people who are interested in seeing this product. They come up with a requirement, they do go for the bidding, and publisher is a term which we use about the where the ad will be shown. So this is ad exchange which binds a brand to the publishers, and it's a very simplistic view of showing how an ad can be published, but a good way of understanding when we say what a publisher is, what a brand is, and there is a bit of work required to do that matching between brand and the publisher. So if I have a website, I will give that space for the advertisement, and how a good quality ad can come to my website, that whole pipeline needs to be developed, and that's what edtech industry is. Any industry is incomplete without the measurement. If you are spending money, that needs to be measured and that needs to quantified. If I'm spending money, it needs to be understand if how successful that particular money has reached. And we have certain metrics within the edtech industry. Few are like click-through rate, conversion rates, and others. And these metrics keep on changing based on the platforms. For example, social media has different metrics, TV will have different metrics, but in this example for the website, these are the common metrics. Now the key question, which is, when it comes to digital media, we consider two things. One, we would like to the marketing team would like to reach to the real people. Nobody wants to reach to something which if they are not watching. And by real people brings up a topic of fraud. Everyone would have heard of topic of financial fraud, which is very common. Similar to the financial fraud, there is a topic of ad fraud. What does that mean? Someone paying to publish their ad at a certain website, but that website is not a genuine website. So they go through with different terms or different methods. We will talk in depth about those methods, but they do certain tricks for which it's not reaching to the real people, and that's what an ad fraud is. Just to give the stats, this is a stats from the Juniper research report that by 2028, 172 billion will be lost, and this is a huge money, and it will going to increase by 11x. Second problem is advertisers needs to make a cut through because there are a lot of things is happening. We know everyone is busy either texting, sharing the photos, doing the emailing, and like 156 million email we send in every minute, 16 million text messages, and there is so many things is happening in the background, and that brings up a challenge how to reach without a noise, how to cut that noise, and that's the second challenge we do. Let's understand why it is necessary. If an ad being shown to you where you don't want it, the content is not appropriate, then you will not like that product. Nobody likes that one. So it's really important to have an ad where the content matches with the ad so that there is a more favorable and trust. This stats from the report, like 77% of the trust decrease if the advertiser show an ad in the content which is not relevant. So that's the second problem for an ad tech industry to solve, and that's where IS comes into picture. We try to be at center of buyer and seller. Remember the example which I showed you on the brand and the publisher. We sit at the center to help both these sides come up with the solution where we can measure and provide solutions for the ad fraud and for the matching of the content. Now talking about ad fraud, that's the one of the solution which IS provides, how to help brands to save money and how to stop them reaching to this false website. Now question comes, what are different ways of ad fraud can happen? There are different. This umbrella is huge. I have just listed few of them. For example, ad stacking. It means if there is a website and if someone is trying to place one ad over top of the other, and they can have 50 ad, 100 ad because they would like to increase their income. That's a fraud because it's not an appropriate way, it's not the ethical way of showing the ads. Second way is pixel stuffing. You minimize the complete ad into a small pixel which even cannot someone notice by a human eye, and you are increasing your traffic, but it's a loss of money what we feel. So these are the different ways how different ways of people are doing the ad frauds, and we would like to build the solution. What we are doing right now is stopping these kind of frauds. A very classical way of stopping a fraud is if you have a historical data, you build certain methods, I call it, let's say, models, and these models on real time identify if a particular website is doing a fraud or not fraud. Now, there are huge lists like click impression fraud, domain location fraud, malware manipulation. These are different, but if you have one set of a data, then you can build the algorithm to stop click and impression fraud. That's one way, and I think that method works. Many people are doing. If you have more data, you can stop the more different type of frauds. For example, if we have marketplace, mobile app data, then we can stop the fraud like domain location fraud, click. But this list goes on, and we will keep on circling around. More frauds will come up, more process needs to spend, and I would like to bring the attention is maximum time consuming part for a data scientist is doing the feature engineering or building these models, and that's a painful time because more we delay, more frauds are coming up, and we have to iterate over these models, right? So it's a race between people coming up with new fraud, and we need to use those data to update the models. It can be avoided, and one of the this is an architecture from a paper. What they saying, it's a multimodality. By modality, I mean different type of data. So in this architecture, if you see, if there are specialized models for certain tasks, we pick these specialized models, okay, treat them as certain vector or some sort of information, combine them, and then do this fraud classification. It's a classification problem, and we can do that. It's a new way. Why? Because if you look at this previous way, you are building individual models, you are enriching your data, you are spending more time on feature engineering. And it can be solved when you have the specialized model extracting the useful information for you in form of embedding, what we are calling. We can call them vector embedding. Basically, it's a concise way of showing the information of what useful is there in that data. When we use this concise way, put it together and build a, let's say, model on top of that, then we are taking a decision and we can iterate much faster. Why this multimodality is helpful? Because that reduces the time. If a new fraud is happening with minimum data, we can iterate in much faster way, and that saves the fraud from happening. That saves the money, and it helps the business.
IAS is a technology company that's focused in the verification space. We basically develop technology solutions around a few different kind of core areas. The main ones are brand safety, fraud, and viewability, but we have a number of other products that sort of branch off of those.
The mission behind the company, I love working towards a larger goal to help the ad ecosystem as a whole, to help fight fraud. I love the mission behind it.
IAS is in a business of trust and transparency, and I think that filters down through the day-to-day of the employees. It gets in the culture and sort of infuses the whole thing.
We're really an agnostic company that works with people on all different sides. We'll work with publishers, we also work with brands, we work with agencies, we work with DSPs, and I think as a whole, we're just trying to move the industry forward in terms of developing solutions that make us as a whole more transparent.
The people are happy, friendly, and there are like happy hours, fresh fruits that we have in the kitchen, the flowers, team building activities. So these kind of sorts of things that really appreciate.
We have offices all over the world. We have Tokyo, we have Singapore, we have Australia, we have a dozen offices in Europe.
Every day is really different here. So some days I'm training clients, some days I'm troubleshooting all sorts of issues, and because I work with all sorts of stakeholders, I never really know what to expect.
People at IAS are really great. They're young, they're forward-looking, they're super resourceful. I would say they're a great bunch of people to work with, and really I think staffing is maybe one of the strongest points of this company.
I'm most excited about the continued growth of the company. So we're really trying to scale up our R&D department, but also more broadly. So I'm interested to see the impact of that on the business and the areas that we'll continue to grow and invest in. So really excited to see where we go.
So this is all about ad fraud. Now, if you remember, the second topic is we need to make cut through noise. That means we need to publish the ad at a right content. If the content is not right, it's not matching with the ad, then it's not reaching to the potential customer. So reaching to the potential customer can be solved by media understanding. Let's understand this as well. For example, this is a web page which is talking about golf. Now, in this web page, it has few words. For example, shoot. By shoot, if we use the traditional approach, that shoot could be a gun shoot, shoot could be a golf one. So we don't know what the web page is talking about. If I post certain ad which is not matching with this content, then it's not relevant. And Just to remember the stats, 77% decrease in attention, right? So that part is crucial to understand what is going on this web page, what the web page is talking about. And that can only be done if we have the context understanding, if we understand what a page is talking about. And once we do that, then we can build our algorithm system to say, yes, this is a good place for an ad to be published, or no, it's not a good place. Let's go in technical part, how to develop this context understanding model, because it's easy to say, but the architecture looks more complex. In terms of data, on the extreme left, it is a text data, it is an image data, or even this web page could have the videos, and videos can have different audios as well, right? So the input is different kind of data, what is there, right? And to understand each type of data, we need same approach of multimodality. That means we need to understand each type of a data in a better way. We need to concise that information, extract what's useful in that. For example, taking a text could be 2 paragraphs, text could be 100 lines. We need to concise that information into a small chunk. And that's what this next layer, what we are showing here is these models. They are capable of bringing a useful information out of the original data. For example, let's use the example of open source. In open source, we have models like Dino, which take the image and extract what's useful in that image and give you in form of a vector. For the text, we have famous models like BERT. BERT knows, it's trained on so much of text across the internet, so it knows what is useful for a text. It can summarize a text in, let's say, small lines or 128 bits. It can summarize a whole 200 pages into small chunks. So that's the beauty of these individual models. Once we have that information, then that information can be aligned. So by alignment, we mean in this same example, an image, text, what is written, is saying a similar thing. So if the information is similar, then similar information should be near to each other, should be combined. There is no reason that information of similar information will stay apart. So they are communicating on the same subject. So same subject, same information can be combined together, they can be aligned together. And that's the role of that multimodality AI block. It aligns information what is extracted from each modality in near to each other. And why is required? If we have that particular block of multimodality, then that block is capable of developing few things. For example, we can identify what is trending. Trend cannot be done, let's say, by only one kind of modality or a data type. To know what is trending, you need to understand what audio is saying, what video is saying. Sometimes due to the audio, it's a trending. Sometimes it's due to the image. Sometimes it's due to the text, how they have written, right? We all have used TikTok, right? TikTok videos, pattern changes, their trendingness changes based on how they have created. So if we have an alignment of different data type, we can build small models on top of that to detect if a video will be trending or not. We can build models of brand safety. Brand safety ensures if certain category needs to be, it detects certain or let's say harmful categories from this data. If a video of, let's say, not a valid category or wrong category, we can detect it. We can understand from the audio, video, text, and we can say the content is not good for the brand. We can actually tag those content and categorize those content. So the main part is the multimodality and the context understanding is bringing these features to develop at much faster pace. We can do it at a much easier way. Before this multimodality space, everyone used to build these individual layers independently. To building these layers independently used to take time. Combining this thing together, bringing up more values and deliver at a faster pace. Here is an example of the technology of IS. And in this you will see how we are doing and detecting the contents. In this example you can see if there is a gun, we can detect, because some brands don't want to show their content where it's a gun if there is accident. So there could be n number of categories, and this category keep on increasing, and we at IS we have the technology to detect these categories, the logo, what people are talking within a video or within a web page, and we help the brands to place there at a suitable and a safe environment. So we discuss about what an adtech is, how adtech can be improved. Now let's see what the future of adtech is like. We have seen solution of ad fraud, we have seen solution for the context matching, but what is coming up? As we know, this is a stat from eMarketer. We all are using on social media a lot. Our frequency of watching videos has increased, and 13.1 hours is the stats which says that Gen Z is watching this much of content for a week, and this is a lot. Another interesting stat is all the content what we are seeing is human, mostly human created. By 2026, 90% of the content will be AI created. I'm sure everyone would have used ChatGPT based things, right? We can create things within seconds and think how it will explode in next 2-3 years. And this required certain measurement. This required certain ways how to deal with it. For example, if someone can create a content which is totally wrong or the information is not correct, nobody wants to publish or see that kind of content. We don't want to associate, brand don't want to associate it with the false claims or the false information, because it will hamper their image. So a future lies if we understand whatever people are talking about or what the content is being generated by AI, if it is a valid claim or not, if the information is being valid or not. And to do that, we would like to build, IS actually launched their misinformation solution. So we are already building these solutions and it's being launched. And we would be updating those things. Because there is more content, we need to be appropriate, we need to be able to stop misinformation, because that could be harmful. Here is an example of case study of a brand when they used the marketing campaign without our solution. Their fail rate was 18.2%. This much of time the content was shown on unsafe environment, which is not suitable for that brand. Using the IS optimization, where we used technology, what we talk about so far, their fail rate decreased to just 2%. And what is the impact? We were able to save that money, and that money can be utilized in the campaign. So the technology is helping them to see the impact, also take action and utilize that money for the same objective. In the end, the key takeaway, I would say, there is a requirement in edtech industry for the media quality, and it is a topmost need for the brands. Any media which is being placed as a campaign needs to be quantified, needs to be measured, and this measurement solution helps to save money just in the use case what we saw. Second, to understand the content, we need to invest more on different type of data, from text, audio, image. We need to understand what the data is talking about, what data is all about, and then take decision, not just based on one factor. And in the last, IS, this is again IS powered measurement does the evaluation frame by frame, and as a result of doing frame by frame, we are 3x effective than our competitors. So thank you.